So many people are about to get SEO goal setting wrong. It's the first working day of the month, which means many of us are about to fire up our laptops and start to think about what we want our organic search campaigns to achieve over the next 12 months. But every year we see so many people get SEO goal setting wrong, and it turns out these goals end up being demotivating rather than motivating. So I thought I would share our process for setting SEO goals. And when running SEO activity, there is so much that could be measured. And in the new world of search and social, there's even more that can be measured. Which means that we start to get into our analytics accounts and we just start to look at all the numbers, and it gets way too much. And every year, so many of us fall into one of two traps. Either measuring absolutely everything, we take all of the GA4 metrics, we take all of the in-channel metrics, and just start to luck and benchmark against every single one of them. Or we go the other way, and we don't measure enough. And if we don't measure enough, it can end up being really demotivating when we don't see momentum early on. And ultimately, many people stop because of that. So to smash our SEO and organic search goals in 2025, there are two key concepts we need to know and we need to work with. Firstly, we need to understand, what are we actually trying to achieve? Well, ultimately, with any marketing activity, we need to achieve sales. And to achieve sales, we need leads, right? We need people to be speaking to in order to convert them. And to be able to do that, we need traffic. We need people coming to our website, actively engaging with our content, and ultimately becoming a lead. But to get traffic, we need visibility. We need people seeing the content that we're putting out there, whether it be on social or on search. And to do that, really we need rankings. We call that visibility on social platforms, but when we're talking about SEO, we're talking about rankings across search engines like Google and Bing. But the problem is, we're not going to achieve all of that in one go. Ultimately, we know we need sales, but we can't turn on our campaigns today or early next week and expect that we're going to get sales straight away. It's very unlikely. It's possible, but it's unlikely. That's why we need to introduce the concept of lead and lag measures. So your lead measures, these are measures of activity that drive or influence the ultimate goal that you're trying to achieve. So for example, if we're trying to achieve sales and we're a salesperson, that is the number of calls that we've made to potential clients or the number of demos we've scheduled over a period of time. And then we have our lag measures or our money measures, which is ultimately the outcomes that we want to achieve from our campaigns, which most of the time is going to be sales, it's going to be revenue. So that's going to be revenue generated or new clients acquired. And this ultimately is cause and effect, right? We know what we want to achieve, and then we need to measure the things that are going to help us achieve those. For example, consistently exercising is a lead measure. So how many times have I worked out this week? That is a lead measure. And then ultimately the lag measure is going to be, from those workouts, ultimately, have I lost weight? And we know we have this framework, right? That we need to achieve sales. And to achieve sales, we need the leads, we need the traffic, we need the impressions, we need the rankings, etc., etc. And very quickly, using that framework, we can actually see that they're lead measures and they're lag measures. So we have our rankings, we have our impressions, we have our supporting keywords, we have our core keywords, but we're measuring their rankings, impressions, and starting to measure organic traffic. And then in our lag measures, if we're getting better search rankings, ultimately we should be getting better traffic. And if we're getting better traffic, we should be getting more leads. And if we're getting more leads, we should be getting more sales. And one of the things that we would love to do at the start when we sit down with any new client, or we have a number of strategy days coming up in the probably first half of January, we'll also measure and map which platforms we're going to use to track our lead and lag measures. That avoids any confusion, because something that we've seen over the years is that two different people within a team may be measuring the same metric, but they may be using different platforms to measure that metric and ultimately getting two different results. So what we do is we map out what our lead and lag measures are going to be, and then we also say we're going to be using this platform to measure this specific metric. So you should measure and set goals based on your lead and lag measures. But how do you get started? Something that we've used over recent years is data benchmarking. So what you do is measure success over the last, ideally, 3 years. So take year 1, compare that to year 2. And then take year 2 and compare that to year 3. And you're looking for what was the net growth over those 2 years, and then average that out and go, okay, as a benchmark, we've achieved 55% growth each year organically. And then what we can do is go, okay, well, let's push ourselves. Let's say that we're not actually achieving growth until we're over that benchmark 55%. And that is something that we did here for a client. So we can see this is what the actual was for 2023. This would have been what happened if we did nothing, and this ultimately is what happened with our SEO activity. So quite clearly there, we can see the impact that SEO activity is having. And ultimately, these lead and lag measures start to write themselves if we just work backwards. So we know we need sales, so let's set some lag measures around sales. We know we need leads, so let's set some lag measures there. We know we need traffic, so let's start to think about, okay, well, how can we influence traffic? We know we need impressions, and we know we need rankings. Quite quickly, we have our lead and lag measures. So that's pretty much everything. It's super simple. It doesn't need to be complicated. Just think about what it is that you're trying to achieve at the end of those 12 months. What is it that means you can look back at the end of the year, so in December, and go, this was really positive, this influenced business growth, ultimately this generated business growth, and then work backwards, set lead and lag measures, and you will then end up with motivating goals that are slowly building momentum. That momentum is going to keep you going, and that is how you're going to achieve those SEO goals by the end of the year. But if you do have any questions, want to discuss anything, just drop me a message on LinkedIn, and we can chat further there. Speak in the next video.